It's all about my students and helping them to achieve what they want to achieve in life, releasing them into life prepared for what life is going to throw at them. I teach biology, but I tell my students that rarely is everything I'm teaching you or anything I'm teaching you about biology. It's about preparing them for the real world and what they have to face when they go out there.
It's an important job. You mold minds. The bonds are just as important, possibly, as the content that you teach. The content is incredible. It's incredibly important, I should say, but those bonds and mentoring to so many students who do not have those mentors is so important.
Teachers are definitely always helping students who are less fortunate because it's part of our job. I can say that in my classroom I've definitely helped students who have had difficulties with behavior regulation. Also, obviously, helping students with learning disabilities by providing them with additional instruction or additional support.
For any school district, any school system, one of the most important things in terms of education, but also one of the biggest costs, is staffing. Teachers, principals, support staff.
There's teachers here who, they're paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year to support their kids, and whether it's buying paper, markers, and pens, or it's subscribing to a subscription service for information, data, whatever, or it's we have like screencast as an option people are using to help support kids and give other ways for kids to learn material, especially in reading. People are buying the pro version themselves so they can teach their kids. It is a constant struggle for us financially.
In like a global sense, teachers are not making minimum wage or something like that. But you do have to go to college and get a master's degree, and all that stuff costs a lot of money, it takes a lot of time. And teachers would argue that in comparison with other people, like with similar levels of education, they're underpaid. And that's not just in Pennsylvania, that's around the country. Many educators feel that way. And so yeah, there's a lot of tension in that space right now.
Teaching can be a very stressful job. For one, you're on stage a lot of the time. You're in the public eye, and it can be draining. That can be draining alone, but then you add in the fact that we have so much pressure to perform on standardized tests, the pressures to kind of fix some of these problems that come from places outside of the classroom, as well as just a large workload, because you spend the majority of your day with students, but then on top of that you also have to do planning and grading, communication with parents, communication with admin, meetings, all of that stuff. I believe the average teacher in America works a 53-hour work week.
It's also an emotional struggle because we know we're carrying a bigger burden. Lots of our folks do that. And it's because there is an inequity there. We also carry a weight of finding ways to help kids develop maturity as well as academic integrity.
More than just academics. So we take students also on cultural trips, take them to the theater, take them to various restaurants. So it's just teaching them everything from manners to communication skills, to dealing with authority and adults, and then with their interpersonal skills and dealing with themselves and how to deal with anger management for some of them, how to deal with articulating their thoughts, speaking up for themselves, because some of our students come from situations that aren't supportive for them, or they come from places where they're not living with mom and dad and their guardian may not be there very much. So they need a bit more support in just normal everyday situations.
Probably the single most important is that every day I leave my house knowing I'm gonna hopefully strike a connection and a bond in a positive way with a lot of different young people.
Beautiful people who work in our English department, and I get teared up when I think about this, make a massive effort to try and create equity in our classrooms. It doesn't happen everywhere, but boy, those English teachers in our building, they're making every effort to do that. And that's about a human individual choice. And that's out of whack with what our system should be doing, right? So it shouldn't be on the backs of 30, 50, whatever it is, good teachers of good heart here to counterbalance a system that isn't providing the proper materials for kids.